Live in Western Oregon, this is NBC 16 News at 5:30.
Happening right now, the Democratic National Convention is in full swing, but this year it's virtual due to the pandemic. Good evening and thanks for joining us for NBC 16 News at 5:30. I'm Kendall Bartley. The theme tonight will be We the People, featuring speakers who will address what the party believes are the three biggest crises facing the nation. Among some of the speakers tonight are former First Lady Michelle Obama, Senator Bernie Sanders, Senator Amy Klobuchar, Governor Andrew Cuomo, along with others. Democrats will officially nominate Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as their 2020 presidential ticket later this week. The virtual convention ends on Thursday. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy has agreed to testify next week as concerns over Postal Service's changes and mail-in voting grows. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is calling the House back into session. Pelosi expects to call a vote on a measure to stop the agency from implementing changes. State leaders are concerned about the post office's new operational changes. The changes could result in slow mail service during the 2020 presidential election and possible problems with mail-in voting. Oregon Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum says the president is sabotaging the USPS to prevent a safe election. As USPS demands grow, Governor Brown tweeted, quote, during a pandemic, more Americans than ever rely on the U.S. Postal Service, whose workers deliver essential medicine. The VA fills 80% of veterans' prescriptions by mail. Unemployment and stimulus checks, cards to loved ones, and vote-by-mail ballots. We must support the USPS.
Is there any question in your mind that ballot boxes are unsafe?
No.
Have people ever tried to break into them at all?
Not that we know of. If they have, they haven't been successful or haven't left a mark on them.
That's Greg Kimsey, the Clark County auditor who's in charge of elections there, addressing the safety of voting by mail as President Trump questions the security of ballot drop boxes. President Trump tweeted, using drop boxes may lead to a rigged election. Well, election leaders in both Multnomah County and Clark County have similar processes for retrieving ballots. Teams of two sworn as deputy auditors collect the ballots and then put the ballots in secure containers with identification on each and open them again at the office in front of other elected staffers. On to wildfire season. A new fire broke on the Willamette National Forest. NBC 16's Tom Adams is live in the studio with early information on the blaze near Detroit Lake and what to expect for the rest of this fire season. Tom.
Well, Kendall, the new fire has a name already. Dubbed the Beachy Creek Fire, it's burning in old growth timber near the Opal Creek area. That's about 5 miles north of Detroit Lake.
Fire bosses with the Willamette National Forest say voluntary evacuations are underway in the Jawbone Flats area near the new blaze. Officials add they're trying to get the early jump on the fire that broke out on Sunday.
Very inaccessible area. It's old growth timber, heavy fuels, not very safe access for our firefighters.
Ed Hyatt tells me helicopters are pouring water onto the fire. It's slightly over 10 acres in size, and hotshot ground crews have also been dispatched to the area. It's a signal that the pace of the fire season is picking up.
We've been, pretty quiet up to this point until the last couple weeks.
John Deegan at the West Lane District of the Oregon Department of Forestry says the forest lands indeed are drying out. And making matters worse, nighttime moisture is also lacking.
At night, generally you'll get that 80-90% humidity recovery. It's only getting up to that 50-60% kind of through the evening now.
As state fire crews continue to get their gear ready for the next call, Deegan says residents, especially those in rural areas, need to be smart and on guard.
Use of spark-emitting tools, gas-powered tools around the home in dry, cured areas is not allowed at this time.
In addition, Level 3 industrial rules are also in place for logging operations to be extra careful in this fire season.
The Beachy Creek Fire is one of several that erupted following a weekend of thunderstorms in the Oregon Cascades. Now, there's also a 12-acre blaze that broke out near Camp Sherman.
Thanks, Tom. Meanwhile, crews continue to battle the Moser Creek fire day and night, and they're making progress. Officials say the fire is now 65% contained and remains at 985 acres. Governor Brown toured the area today. She spoke with people who lost everything. She says she met with one family who lost their home. They had 4 they had had for 4 generations. But despite this tragedy, she says the entire community has stepped up to help one another. The Moser Creek fire has been burning since August 12th. It's believed to be human caused, but fire crews are still investigating. Now let's take a look at weather with Alan Matthews. Alan, those triple digits have come and gone, and it's a good thing that they have left us. Hopefully they don't return during this fire season.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, everybody's got the fire extreme or to the extreme level right now, and it looks like it's going to sit that way for a while. Temperatures still very warm today. Even though we haven't hit triple digits, we're still looking at temperatures in the low to mid 90s today. In fact, Eugene hitting a high of 93. That's where we sit right now. Not much wind east-northeast at 3 miles per hour. Our humidity right now sitting at 31%. We have seen a bit of cloud cover increase. Now, talking about those high temperatures, actually, Eugene got up to 95 today, along with Corvallis. Roseburg getting close to 100. They topped out at 98 this afternoon. You head to the coast, temperatures a bit more comfortable. 67 the high in North Bend, 66 up in Newport. Not much to show with our area, except for we are seeing that cloud cover moving on into the region, increasing across the area. You see that shower to the east of us. You can see pretty much move through the Madras area right now. But for our region, we're going to be looking at dry conditions once again. As far as your power planner is concerned, those temperatures are basically going to be in the 80s tomorrow. So we're going to see a bit of a cool off tomorrow and should stay in the 80s for a good chunk of the week. We'll give you the complete forecast a little bit later on in the newscast. Kendall?
Thanks, Alan. Keeping an eye on how coronavirus is impacting schools, Oregon State University now has a plan to address the pandemic's toll on the school's budget. The plan also reveals how students and staff will remain safe this fall when school does start. NBC 16's Angelina Dixon has the details.
This is pretty much what it's going to look like here on the OSU campus this fall, as students will be attending classes remotely.
Pretty empty is how things will look when school resumes. But it stems from the approved plan of the Board of Trustees to ensure safety against COVID-19.
On our Corvallis campus, 90% of instruction will be provided remotely. That'll either be through conferencing tools such as Zoom or online education. Oregon State has one of the nation's top-ranked online degree programs called eCampus. Some of our students will be involved in that.
And for students who don't have access to a computer, the administration department will direct students to the tools they need. As for balancing the university's budget, the Board of Trustees have approved a plan to balance the books. It includes some work share layoffs, along with a salary reduction program for 43 university administrators and head coaches that was implemented in July.
We've put in a hiring freeze, a travel freeze that really began last spring. All of these efforts will help to mitigate some of those losses.
The university reports that another salary reduction may be in the works for other academic faculty members and could be announced by September 1st.
This is a strong university. We have a plan that prioritizes safety and success for our students, our faculty, our staff, and the communities we serve throughout the state of Oregon. So what that requires, however, is a lot of budget discipline. And so beginning last spring, we took extensive efforts to reduce our expenditures.
Clark says students and staff will be safe working remotely this year, and he's hoping for a turnaround in terms of the budget and COVID-19 by next spring. In Corvallis, I'm Angelina Dixon reporting.
The university also plans to transition from law enforcement services provided by the Oregon State Police to a university-run police force on January 1st. Looking at coronavirus cases in Oregon, the Oregon Health Authority reports 192 new confirmed and presumptive cases and no new deaths. There are more than 23,000 COVID-19 cases. Deaths remain at 388. Multnomah County reported the most cases today with 57. Public health officials in Coos County are concerned after monster truck shows were held at the Coos Bay Speedway. Hundreds of people packed the stands and grass hillside at the Speedway last Friday. Many were not social distancing or wearing masks. The Public Health Division of Coos Health and Wellness says they're very worried.
Yeah, we certainly do expect there to be, we would not be surprised if there were additional clusters that popped out of that situation.
They say the governor has set clear guidelines for outdoor events, but with that said, it's not up to the attendee to read them. The statewide mask policy requires people to wear a mask in outdoor situations when they can't stay 6 feet from other people. Well, there's promising news out when it comes to testing for COVID-19. The FDA is now granting emergency use authorization for a non-invasive testing method using your saliva. Health officials are hopeful this could help the U.S. flatten the curve. Researchers say this could be another alternative for people wanting to get tested.
I think it will take weeks, if not longer, for this test to become more widely available. But as it comes online, I think people will like it much better than the more intrusive nasal swab test.
Tests are expected to cost about $10 per sample. The NBA helped to fund the development of this test and uses it to test for non-symptomatic carriers. Coming up on your only local news at 5:30, homelessness continues to be a big topic for Roseburg city leaders. That location, the city's Dream Center, will now be moving to.